Hey guys, welcome back to the Nicole Abboud Show, where I am serving a fresh dish of what's happening in the law and business with a twist of personal development. I'm Nicole Abboud, and let's go ahead and get to this week's top stories. The big news of the week, causing FOMO across the country among lawyers, is the ABATechShow, which is happening right now as we speak. So the tech show started a few days ago, will continue until March 2nd. And this conference promises to bring lawyers and technology together. For 3 days, attendees learn about the most useful and practical technologies available. The conference includes a legal tech startup pitch competition, yoga in the morning, a 5K race, and lots of panels and presentations aimed at helping lawyers integrate technology into their legal practices. Now, I've never been to the ABATechShow, but I'm actually told that it's one of the better legal conferences. If you too couldn't make it like I couldn't make it this year, be sure to follow along with their hashtag, which is hashtag ABATechShow 2019, to check out what people are talking about, what they're learning. And I don't know if it's weird to follow a hashtag for a conference that you're not even at, but I do it all the time. That's okay, because I think the measure of a great conference is really how active people are on its hashtag. So I thought I would share that hashtag with you guys so you can follow along and find out what people are talking about at this conference. And maybe next time around, at next year's show, we'll all get to go and we'll meet there. Now, here's an interesting story. Every year, As You Sow, a nonprofit shareholder advocacy group aimed at empowering shareholders to change corporations for good, compiles a list of the top overpaid CEOs. Companies like Oracle and Comcast appear regularly on that list. Topping the list this year, Ronald F. Clark, who heads FleetCor Technologies, Inc. Clark took in about $52 million. Now, what's interesting is that this year, for the first time, companies were actually required to report the ratio between CEO pay and median employee pay. This naturally shed light on how high CEO pay has become, but it also brought to light the huge pay disparity between executives and the workforce. Taking Clark as an example, his pay alone, that number alone is astronomical. But when compared to the median employee salary, which was just $34,700 a year, it becomes mind-blowing. I'm not trying to get into a debate about shareholder and executive pay and their merits, at least not for now. I just found this story interesting because I'm intrigued by the value that we assign to our business leaders and how that is reflected in how we feel about their pay. We all expect that the CEOs and the top executives at companies are going to make more money than an average employee. I get that. Theoretically, they're making a lot of the big decisions that drive the company. They should be compensated accordingly. But something about that huge disparity in pay offends our senses. And I'm interested in finding out what it is. Do we feel like they just didn't earn it? Is it because it's just such a big, obscene number when examined on its own? Do we believe that deep down these executives are just dirty scumbags because that's what we have gotten accustomed to seeing on TV or in the news and they just don't deserve it? Or is it because of the low number on the other end of things, the employees' salaries? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this story in the comments below. How do you feel about the exorbitant CEO pay? Are they deserving or not? So the link to the nonprofit and this story are in the description below if you want to continue your own research. I caught this article on myshingle.com written by the author of the site, Carolyn Elephant. So myshingle.com is an online educational resource for solos and small firm lawyers. She was discussing how everything that's old seems to be making a comeback, including Dr. House calls. So Carolyn talks about the increase in apps that allow people to summon a doctor to their house for non-emergency problems, which sounds pretty cool, right? In her article, Carolyn poses the question, should more lawyers embrace this old school way of visiting with clients by making house calls? So there's something definitely vintagey about this, which I love. And as pointed out by Carolyn, there are lawyers out there who are already doing this. It's not that new. But I'd like to take Carolyn's question one step further. I'd like to challenge lawyers to examine how they can visit with their clients virtually instead of having to make house calls. I think that making house calls is not a bad idea, but I can't help but see the limitations based on practice area, geography, perhaps even for safety reasons for lawyers. So I think that if this is something that lawyers are considering doing, then they should check out other lawyers who are using virtual means to access their clients without having to meet them at their homes. Companies like MyVirtual.Lawyer and Concierge Wills and Trusts are two great examples of legal companies that are using technology and video conferencing to stay connected with clients. In fact, these services are all web and video based, making it so that the lawyer and the client never have to meet in person. Now, of course, offering these services presupposes that the clients have access to computers and to the internet. I get it. But this is just something to think about. If house calls are not feasible, I think that video conferencing can be just as powerful and can be a great next step for lawyers. So this story just made me cringe and squirm in my seat. I had to share it because I imagine a lot of the ladies out there, and maybe even baby boomers who are watching this, will feel it with me. So a female attorney in Michigan, who is a prosecutor, filed an ethics complaint back in March of 2018, alleging that another attorney she had dealt with in a traffic violation matter got aggressive with her, calling her a little girl and stating that she just doesn't know how to act like a lady. As reported by the ABA Journal, the guy, and I can't really call him a gentleman, I was about to say the gentleman, had challenged the prosecutor when she told him that she could not offer a plea deal in his client's traffic case without seeing the client's driving record, according to the ethics complaint, at least, that's what it says. Now, that set him off as he proceeded to explain to the prosecutor that he had been practicing for far longer than she had and understood the law far better. Like, that wasn't bad enough, according to the complaint. As this guy was leaving, he said something to the effect of, "These kids think they know everything and always want to argue with people." And I'm here thinking, yeah, he literally described every single lawyer. That is precisely what we do. The best part is, this guy went on Facebook to rant about the interaction in a long-winded post that he later removed a few days later. But the complaint alleges that he posted, "How do you have so much attitude when you haven't been practicing a whole year?" Then he proceeded to write, "Whatever happened to the idea of just shutting up, being quiet, and learning the law, at least for a while, before you start arguing with lawyers who have been doing this since you were in high school?" So here's my issue with this. I've always believed that respect has to work both ways between people in order for humanity and collegiality to work. And this guy just completely ripped that belief up. In his attempt to make this new lawyer seem disrespectful and dumb, he just managed to make himself look disrespectful and dumb. It's statements like these that keep older generations from taking millennials seriously. It's this view that we're still kids that hinders our ability to advance in this profession because of a stereotype. It just drives me crazy. But if you've had an encounter like this one, I would love to hear about it. Just go ahead and drop it in the comments below. And a link to the complaint itself and the story covering the link in the ABA Journal is going to be linked up below as well. So that's it for this week's top stories, but stick around for the next segment because it is the beginning of March and we are celebrating Women's History Month this month. So I thought it would be fitting to sit down and actually write a letter to my younger lawyer self, giving her the advice that I wish I had known when I was starting off as a woman in this profession.
Dear younger Nicole, first of all, you should know that you are like a fine wine, baby. You're only going to get better with age. When I think about what I'd love to tell you, I'm overwhelmed by all the advice that I'd want to share. But there's no point in offering advice when you're not ready to hear it. So what I can share right now is this. Don't worry so much. Don't worry if you feel like you don't know anything as a new lawyer, even though you just graduated from law school. No one else knows what they're doing. They're all faking it. Don't do that though. Everything you need to know, you'll figure out in due time. Don't worry about your clients seeing right through you. They're grateful to have you on their side, no matter how young and seemingly inexperienced you are. Don't worry about approaching your boss and asking for that raise. You deserved it, and you worked hard for it. Don't worry about wanting to please everyone, because in doing so, you end up taking on more than you should, just so you avoid saying no. Don't worry about those older attorneys who will laugh at you when you mention you're launching a podcast. It will be too soon for them to understand. Some of them will come back later asking you to help them launch their own. Don't be dissuaded. Don't worry about what others will think when you finally decide to follow your heart and quit the practice of law. Many will judge you, but those who feel it too will be inspired by you and cheer you on. Don't worry. Just don't worry. Oh, and don't open that credit card, go out more, ditch your computer often, don't stop working out, don't lose touch with your close friends, and use sunscreen. Just know that you are going to make a woman very happy someday, and that woman is me. Best, future Nicole. P.S. Thank you for religiously using conditioner. # not sponsored by Pantene. # but I want to be.